Turning a ring project is a fun project and makes a great gift. Today I'm going to show you how to select the right wood, how you mount it on a glue block, how do you size it to your finger, and how do you finish turning it on a wood mandrel. Today I'm going to be using a metal core, but I've turned several successfully without a metal core. Whether you turn a ring with or without a core, it's sure to be stylish and elegant and sure to impress.
I got my stainless steel core ring from Turner's Warehouse. I'll have a link in the show notes, but they come in 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm widths.
So I was debating this glue up whether you use carpenter's glue or CA. So I'm going to use a medium CA because it's like turning this into plastic. Probably should have hit it with the accelerator, but we're going to.
Here's another blank I glued up with a piece of black veneer.
Stabilized wood is probably the best, and cross grain and laminated is makes for a strong ring. But you can take one if you got the right wood. You could use one with spindle orientation, straight grain, and drill it, and you can be successful with that as well. With a longer end grain block, you can mount it in a chuck and drill it out on the lathe. For today's project, I've taken a spindle scrap, put a tenon, had a tenon on it, put it in a chuck. I glued my cross grain blank on here with, I use carpenter's glue, but you can use medium or thick CA or epoxy. You could even actually use double-sided Turner's tape. So now I'm going to drill all the way through. Sometimes it pays to drill a smaller hole first and then the larger hole because it reduces heat, and on certain woods, especially exotics, heat can cause the wood to crack. I really don't think it makes a lot of difference whether you use a twist drill bit or a Forstner drill bit, because you're going to have plenty of room here on the side to shape the ring. It's important to size this to your finger if you don't have a core, or buying the appropriate size core for your finger. I'll have a link in the show notes to an international ring sizing chart so you can measure your ring diameter and determine what size core you need. My ring core is between two drill bit sizes, so I've got to open this up just a little bit with a scraper. I'm going to use a negative rake scraper. It'll speed up a little bit. I'm about 2,000. I'm only off a few thousandths of an inch, so take time to size it appropriately. It may not take much. And I think I've got it just right with a little bit of friction. May need to sand that just a little bit. If you're a machinist, you may have this expensive boring accessory that might be nice if you're making a lot of rings. If you want to see one of these in action, you might want to watch this video from Chad Schimmel. My blank is a little larger than I need, which is good with this, but I want this veneer centered, so you can see I'm going to have to take this down just a little bit, and I think I'll probably rough turn it a little bit first. I've got to reduce this down to about 1/16 of an inch so I can see that measurement. I'm going to go ahead and roughly shape the outside of this ring first. My speed up, just knock these corners off. That makes it a little bit easier for me to see how deep I need to go to flatten this off. So now I'm going to use again, go back to that negative rake scraper and just flatten this off just a little bit. You could use a sander, but I find the negative rake scraper is faster and easier for me. I want it a little bit proud of the metal. We can make those final adjustments later, but I want to get it close. We're going to glue this in with epoxy, but before I do, I need to scuff up the sides of this, the inside with 150 grit to give it a little better mechanical hold. So I'll do that all the way around. I thoroughly mixed my 5-minute epoxy. Now I'm going to just line the inside. Now I'm going to slide the ring in, and I'm going to go just past the edge. I'm using gloves just to keep this stuff from getting all over my hands. And we're just going to just press it in just a little bit past the edge. Looks even. I think it's got it. Be sure to clean the inside of the ring with denatured alcohol before it dries. Now we're going to let it set up for a few hours before we finish turning it. I'm going to thin this down almost to the steel core. I just put a fresh burr on it, just lightly. Okay. Now I'm going to use my 3/8 inch detail gouge to just take the wall thickness down some. This blank is stabilized, so it's almost like acrylic, not quite, but it's nasty stuff to breathe, so I'm wearing my face mask. I can get a little bit thinner while here. Okay, I think that's his, almost, let's do one more pass. Alright, it's time for me to part this off. This is a 6mm core I'm using, so I know I've measured and I know about how far I've come. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of margin. And so I parted down just a little bit. Now I'm going to use a thin flush cut saw to finish cutting this off. Whoa, so I wouldn't drop it. I'm using my record power pin mandrel with mandrel saver, and it comes with these ring bushings, so I'm going to use the middle size one, put it on this direction, and then I use the other bushing to support it. I think I need to get rid of, I need to use a little sandpaper block to get rid of this little part that's going to interfere with the bushing. Let me do that first. I'm going to rub this on this 120 grit sandpaper in that one rough area. And I think I just about took care of it. Okay. I've got one ring bushing on. I put my blank on here. Doesn't matter which side goes on first, probably not. Then I use the other bushing with the tapered side in, and that holds it firmly. And now I'm going to use a spacer bushing, and that allows me to bring up my mandrel saver and put a little bit of tension on here. The thickness of the wood is just a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, which is the width of this parting tool. So I want to get down to go down just a little bit, and I'm going to use my detail gouge again to kind of reduce that. just take off a little bit. Now this profile could either be squared off, it could be rounded, or you could have a little taper on each side, depending on your preference. I think I got close to where I want it to be, maybe a little bit more. Now I'm going to round it over just a little bit. Come in on each side, just ride the bevel on that bushing a little bit, and then they just cut and round it over. Okay, I think I'm about ready to sand it. Okay, I'm going to quickly sand through the grits. I'm going to start off with a little 220, a little 360. And then finally, a little 500. And then we're going to use a little abrasive paste, which ought to just about double that last grit of 500, bring it up to close to 1,000. Alright. That's looking good, looking smooth. I'm going to use a CA finish, but I'm using Parfix 3408, which is a really slow cure time. Let me back this off just a little bit here. Give myself a little more room. And I want to get a little bit on the sides before I get it on top. So I'm just going to put some on this applicator. Just bring it around. Bring it around, really make sure I've got a nice coat in there. And the other side. Nice thorough coat, and then before it dries I'm going to go ahead and mount it back on and put some on the outside. Just apply it liberally, let it soak in. Thick coat, it absorbs, but not going to absorb too far probably into this stabilized blank. I'm going to use a little activator on here, but rather than spray it on here, I'm going to actually put some on this applicator, paper towel, and then just turn the speed up a little bit, apply that like this. Okay, that should be ready. And I'm glad it didn't stick to the bushing, and there we go. Now, if you scratch the core a little bit, not a problem. You can use your Dremel tool to kind of clean that up and polish the edge. I've got my rotary tool with the felt polishing brush, and I'm just going to clean up around the edges with a little abrasive paste on here. I'm going to polish this ring on my buffer, and I'm going to use, on my white diamond wheel, I'm going to use a Vonix compound. It comes from Great Britain, manufactured in Germany, and it's more aggressive than the white diamond, but it's a finer grit. Go figure that out. And there we go. Beautiful ring.